what's going on, world? It's your boy Hollywood. Appreciate y'all coming through. Blessings to all. We got another one here for you today. Just before we start, please hit the subscribe, the follows, all that good stuff, likes. I don't ask for any money. The service I'm providing for you guys is just to spread knowledge. So to do that, I need y'all help to spread the knowledge and help me spread it as well. We got a special guest here today, and I'll let her take it away and introduce herself.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Yeah, my name is Jess Oquendo. I am from New Jersey, and I am a personal trainer, CrossFit coach, and I've been doing this for about 5 years.
And what got you into the CrossFit aspect of personal training?
CrossFit. Honestly, I was bored. When I was at the gym by myself, because fitness started before CrossFit, and I was just kind of curious about it. People were talking about it a lot. The hype got really big, and the minute I put the barbell over my head, it was a wrap. I was like, this is awesome.
Cool.
And it's been addicting ever since, to literally compete against the clock every single day.
So it's that drive of competition that keeps you going? Yeah,
absolutely. CrossFit is the perfect analogy to life, because that is fitness. It's a little bit of everything. I mean, you have weightlifting, you have cardio, you have calisthenics, you have plyometrics, everything. You have every aspect of fitness: agility, speed, coordination, power, strength, balance, and you get to do that against the clock, for time. So anytime, I get to train, you never know what to expect. You literally train for the unknown. You don't know what the board's going to say. You don't know how you're going to do. Sometimes you die, sometimes you don't, but it's been really fun.
Yeah. That's cool. I want to step back because your last name, what was it again? How do you say it?
Oquendo.
Okay, where's that name originate? That last name?
It's Ecuadorian, I guess.
Okay.
My dad's Ecuadorian. My mom's Costa Rican.
Okay, cool. So from the Spanish, so South America, right?
Central, Costa Rica Central, and Ecuador is South America.
South America, right? And were they born there and then
they were
came?
Born there. I was born here.
Okay. Have you gone back? How has your culture influenced your fitness and your life?
It's the reason why I do what I do, because my family is ridiculously unhealthy. There's diabetes, high blood pressure in my family. To be honest, my grandfather was an alcoholic. I love him to death. He was my father figure.
Right.
He's the one who raised me the most. Even though my dad is alive, he just wasn't around as much. And he raised us with going to the corner store, buying candy, buying whatever we wanted. I grew up eating trash my whole life, to the point I was addicted to sugar. And at some point he was I guess his body just had enough, and he ended up getting diagnosed with cancer. Let's just say September he was diagnosed with cancer. By November, he never even made it to his first chemo treatment. He literally went into a coma.
Wow, I'm sorry.
In between that time, September, November, I wasn't in fitness yet. I hadn't even joined the gym. If I go for a run, that was a lot. And I was always athletic. I played tennis for 8 years. I played in college. I played in high school and in college. I played soccer. I played basketball. But I was never disciplined in fitness. I mean, sports are sports, So when he got diagnosed, since he was my everything, I was like, I got to take him here. I got to take him there. I took a wheelchair at some point. He grew so weak, he couldn't pick himself up. And there was a really breaking moment where I had a Hwoodtv of a car, and I had to stuff the wheelchair in that car. And I tried to get it. I was so exhausted from school, from work. I was working 2 jobs, sometimes 3 over the weekends. I was running around with him. I felt like my back I couldn't take it anymore. I tried to yank the wheelchair out of the car, and I fell to the floor. And he asked me, why don't I ask somebody for help? And I lost my mind when he said that. I was like, I don't need to ask anybody for help. Then he ended up going into a coma and didn't come out of it and passed away during a Hurricane Sandy. That was probably like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, the day that happened, I felt like I was so weak and exhausted. I felt very unreliable. I felt like, oh my God, like, what if I was stronger physically speaking? Would I have been able to do more? I wasn't sure. I was, battling myself a lot. And then I literally went to sign up for the gym the next day. I went on YouTube, started looking at fitness videos, and I was like, okay, what do people eat that work out? What are the macros? And I started writing everything by hand. And for like a year straight, I just went and did my thing every single day. Woke up, ate the same thing every single day, ate like a dog. Did my cardio, did my runs, did my sprints, did my weightlifting, and I fell in love with what I was doing for myself. And like I said, like little by little, I was just like, you know what, this is getting a little boring. I ran into CrossFit, and when I got into CrossFit, I think a few months into it, I was going too hard and I blew my back out.
Yeah, what's happening?
I herniated 3 discs.
Oh man.
I was told not to weightlift ever again, that I was risking paralysis because of how bad my back was. Yeah, my nerve was pretty damaged. I couldn't walk on my left leg. I was limping. They told me I needed surgery. I was out for 9 months. I was on disability as well. And I never got surgery. I just rehabbed myself for like 9 months. I went back to CrossFit. That's what made me get certified as a coach, because I didn't want to trust anyone.
Right.
I got my certification in strength and conditioning, in CrossFit, kettlebell. I did Olympic weightlifting certifications. Pretty much taught myself how to do everything. And then I started coaching it. And from there, I fell in love with coaching that I never ended up in graduate school. I left everything behind. I quit my job, and I've been trying to blow up the gym since. It's been like, all right, what did I learn from like the horrible mistakes that I made?
Right.
Then I did that for like 3 years. I was coaching, training people, but I noticed that I didn't have fruit on the tree yet. Like at the end of the day, no matter how many people you train, people, what they care about is not how many people you train, but how many people can you keep training for years. Are going to stay with you and transform. So I was big into transformation, not just on the outside, but on the inside. I'm Christian, so like for me, like if you're going to work with me, I'm going to expect you to dig inside of you and use that as a way to get you to physically change. But then I had to go through my own. So in 2016, I found a bodybuilding coach, and I was like, listen, I need to transform. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, yo, I need to like be on stage in front of a bunch of people and say that I did it, so I understand why people quit, because I don't understand why people quit. I don't quit,
Right.
I need to do something that's going to break me in half, make me cry, make me curse somebody out. Because one thing is to go on a diet, but I could always say, screw the diet.
Right.
I'll eat whatever I want.
Right. But
then there's like being held accountable by a coach, and you have a show date that everybody's waiting for the reveal, So I paid a coach, some money, and I was like, what do I need to do? And it was 2016, August 1st, and I competed May 12th of the following year. Yeah, and I did, and that whole 11 months was crazy. What I'm talking about is what I learned is that people say, I'm just eating this one grape, and you're like, oh, but it's just a grape. It's not going to ruin my diet. I'm like, yeah, but it ruins your discipline. You go back to zero having something that is not for you, that's not meant for you. And that whole like the mindset of prepping for a bodybuilding show made me realize that people do not have problems knowing what is healthy and what is unhealthy. The entire world knows we have to exercise. The world knows the facts. The world knows that asparagus is healthier than Doritos. The world knows that if you're not moving, you can get blood clots. Like
Right.
we're constantly fed information on a daily basis. You give out information on a daily basis.
Right.
But that never means anything. Only less than 1% of the country is fit. So what's the point of spreading knowledge if you're not teaching discipline?
Right.
That's where I was like, what's gonna make me different than other trainers and other coaches is I'm not going to give you knowledge until I teach you the mindset of discipline first.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, like, a gallon of water is less than $1. Sometimes it's free.
Right.
You can't commit to drinking a gallon of water a day for me for 7 days. Or if I tell you log your food and then we'll see if we can work together. If they can't do that, they're not gonna do the rest of the stuff they're required to do.
Right. Right.
And then so it got me thinking, like, why are people lacking discipline? Like, where is it that they fall? And it turned into like, all right, let me write you this diet. We're gonna have check-ins once a week for 15 minutes. And it allows me to monitor them every 7 days and see like what in 7 days changed from you being so motivated. Because everyone comes in like, come on, coach, I'm ready for this. I'm ready for you to help me change. And I'm like, okay, like, just so you know, I'm only motivated like 10% of the time. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm not motivated. They're like, yeah, you are. You're always putting up these videos. And I'm like, I'm disciplined. I do those videos despite how I feel.
Right.
Despite, regardless of what I'm going through, I do it because I have to do it. So it turned into like, I don't give people options. Like, you know, you can choose from your chicken and your this. I'm going to write you the menu. This is what you're having at 6 o'clock. This is what you're having. When I'm going to treat you like a dog. And if you can follow this, regardless of all the things you heard on social media, I'm like, don't step on the scale unless I tell you to step on the scale. Don't rearrange the order of the food. If they rearrange the order, is that going to make or break the results? Absolutely not. But it breaks their discipline. So eventually, when they screw up, like, they know how to bounce back without me. And I always thought fitness was something that you need to be independent of others. Like, I don't want people to rely on me for the rest of their lives. You get me? So that's kind of like what I am about in the fitness industry, is teaching people to be more disciplined so that they know how to take what they know. So now they're like, okay, I know that I have to do this. Now it's why. Now we get into like, this is healthy than this because you have this much protein in this, because like you have to train, you know, body weight movements this many times a week because, or you have to hit 65% to 85% of your 1 rep max on this cycle, because eventually they can be overwhelmed. But in the beginning, all they have is motivation with no room for knowledge. Only people that want to attain knowledge and information will become wise with it and can actually use it, you know? It's like a sermon, right? People leave church hyped.
Yeah.
I'm going every day. Oh my God. Like, that was great. That was fire. And then they don't apply it. Once it's Monday, they don't apply it. So you give somebody like a little golden nugget of information. Here, boom, take this, put it in your pocket, use it every single day. And then we'll add more to the plate. But everybody wants everything so fast. Everyone wants results so fast. The culture of this country is, I want everything right now. You go take an exam in school, the teacher gives you the results in like 30 minutes. I'll grade them right now for you guys, instead of allowing us to be patient. So along with discipline is patience. I tell them, hey, let's call this project 365. It takes 365 days. It took me 11 months to see abs when I was strict on the diet. I mean, I'm talking like no one could break my discipline. I could have cake on my nose and I won't. you know?
Right.
And I tell them the reason why I do, they're like, you're crazy. I'm like, yes, because I need you to see that I'm a Hispanic. I'm 20, you know, like I'm not a teenager. I'm almost 30 years old. I'm a woman and I have genetics going against me. If I need you guys to know that I don't take drugs. Without drugs, you know how hard it is to be like ripped?
Right.
Very hard, you know? So I'm like, if I don't screw up in 11 months and it took me that long to see abs, why would you see them in 4 weeks eating pizza here and there?
Right.
You know, so I told them the only way to have fruit on my tree with clients is to be my own fruit on the tree. So I'm like, I'm going to have to do this myself. I'm going to have to transform myself. I'm going to have to go through the process. And something that I heard on a podcast once is like a true leader will, you know, knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. So I'm like, all right, like we could know everything, but it won't matter if you don't do it yourself. It won't matter if you don't show other people. And people are greedy with their knowledge. They're like, I'm the best and I know this. I'm like, it doesn't matter, because if you die tomorrow, that
where's all that go?
The graveyard, and no one cares and no one knows.
Yep.
You know, you influence nobody, you help nobody, and you're not being gross to society, you know? So a lot of people are very closed off and rely a lot on motivation. Fitness videos, fitness music, all that stuff is meant to give you that like three minutes of
boost,
the gym.
Yeah.
But what happens when it's my job to motivate my clients, but I'm human and I know that one day I'm gonna have a bad day. I'm gonna turn my back for a second and they're gone. You know, so I'm huge on lifestyle, being that I come from the family that I come from. I don't believe in 30-day challenges. I don't believe in like how fast can I get results or whatever, because I don't care about, you could lose 50 pounds in 30 days. Doesn't mean I'm not proud of the 30 days of work, but it tells me that you're just going to go back to old habits. You know, if we're really in this to change people, then we have to put them in a position to understand what is going to happen 3 years from now. Do you care about your life 3 months from now, or 3 years from now, or 30 years from now? You know, and if that matters to you, then we have to think long haul. I sit down with every single one of my members and we go through 30, 60, 90-day goals, 6-month goals, and 1-year goals. And a lot of people don't know what they want to do in a year from now. They have no idea. And I said, what are you going to do? I want you to answer me this question. What is going to stop me from giving you that phone call of where are you? How come you haven't been here? I haven't seen you here. What are you going to do? What's your worst case scenario? I noticed what helped me a lot was to prepare myself to know that this is going to suck. If I say, yo, this is going to be great, the ride is going to be great, we're going to have a good time, trust me, we're going to have a good time. I'm a good time. I know that I am. But I was like, there's going to be days, more than good days, that you hate coming. You're going to hate me. You're going to hate this. You're going to hate that you're passing up the chocolate. You're going to hate so much of this journey. So prepare yourself for it. You know, tell yourself it will suck. Don't give your brain the opportunity to sabotage itself. Don't let that window, you know, of sabotage, you know, creep in. Exactly. Don't allow it. Tell yourself, like, you know, forget that route from thought to brain, from whatever you see the stressor to your brain. Just get it to be as short as possible to a positive route. Captivate that negative thought and shoot it to another direction. I would say, because everyone's like, all right, they come in, they're like, oh, there's burpees in the workout. Oh my God, I'm gonna suck. I'm like, that's it right there. You are gonna suck. You know, you are gonna suck. So the minute they're like, oh, this diet looks horrible, and even though it's not, like, I don't believe in dieting with salad. Like, you gotta eat the stuff you're normally gonna eat for the lifestyle you want. So don't go keto if you plan on eating carbs later.
You're gonna eat some rice.
So then diet with rice.
Like, there's a way to do it.
There's a way to do it, but it's mindset. It's before class saying, tell yourself you're gonna crush it. It's after class saying, yo, I killed it. I did good. Everyone's like, oh, but that's arrogance. It's not arrogance. We're royalty. You got to walk like it. You got to talk the talk. You got to walk the walk.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to be good at something, you got to believe that you're good at it.
Right.
It's not being arrogant. It's not being conceited. It's saying like, you know, but society wants to like, it's like the norm is negativity. Obviously, so much negativity. So you always tell yourself, everyone's like, oh, it's normal to be negative. You hear negative, music is negative. Like everything that we ingest is negative. So it's not normal to hear like I'm the best.
Right.
It's always seen as negative to say that because, but guess what? To be a world champion, you think a world champion in anything is gonna be like, oh, you know, I don't know if I can do this. You know, no way. You know, no way. So I was like, dude, to be, no, you don't have to be a world champion martial artist. That's not what we all want to do. But we, in a way, you know, we want to kick ass in our own life.
Right.
We want to kick ass, and so like I've been in just coaching the mind, just literally your mental, because I'm telling you, I could give you the best workouts in the world for a year.
You probably do it for 2 days.
What happened?
So people will probably do it for 2 days if they don't get their mind right.
They're not gonna do it unless you say I'm there with you doing it. You're never gonna be on your own and outside of your comfort zone. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you wanna. If I die tomorrow, I want something like, yo, I'm going to use what she taught me, and not like, well, I don't know what to do now.
Right.
You know. So
something that's gonna be long lasting.
That's what's failing though. The industry is just trying to sell.
Right.
You know, they sell. So they sell whatever. If I can get people to buy my book $10, a subscription for $10, you know, I don't care if they use it or not, because they're gonna forget about those $10 coming out of their account, and they're making money. But it's like, you know, it's hard to give away things for free too, because people don't value it.
Yeah, it's a balance.
So you almost have to, like, you are the value. Like, so you almost say, like, you know, being with me is going to give you value, and that the money, you're like, what changed for me too was like treating every client I had like they paid me $1 million. Like, I'm like, if I treat everybody like they paid me $1 million, and it's like a teenager that I'm training for free, you give everything,
right?
You know, and they see, wow, I'm paying, you know, $50, $60 an hour for something that's worth $500 an hour, $1,000 an hour, and you're always, you know, creating unlimited resources for people. You don't focus on the money. I have a business partner, and we both decided, like, we planted in a very Hispanic, low income area where they come in asking for discounts, where the city charges 3 times the amount that we charge.
Right.
And we're like, yo, you know, let's stay here, because at some point in 10 years, this will flip. But again, people don't know how to harvest. People don't know how to plant their seeds.
Right.
Want, like,
and look for the future.
Where can I make my money? Yeah, where can I make my money right now?
Right now. But and that's that mindset, like you said. Everybody wants something so quick. They don't want to plant roots. Yeah, it's interesting that you said that's a lot of unpack there. But I kind of now see where you were going before we started this. You were testing. It seems like you were kind of testing me to see where my head was at. Because now that I'm hearing you, I'm like, oh, okay, that's why you was asking all those questions and what I see for myself, though. Because that's what you do when you do it with your clients. You try to get their mental, so you could see how to work their physical. And about the whole breaking down of the body. That's a very military, old school, like, martial arts thing, where you want to break them down completely so you can rebuild them back up. And that's a good way to go about it. That's something that you're not really hearing a lot from a lot of people that's training. A lot of people that's training are really just trying to create a cycle for where you keep needing them so that they could keep making money. You want them to just,
and it's always the new thing. Like, people, like you said, old school works perfect.
Yeah.
You know, the old school mentality is, if it's not broken, don't
fix it. Yeah.
People tell me every week, are you going to change my diet, even though they're progressing? I'm like, no. I'm not touching it. If it's working. And again, that comes from people not being patient. So it's like, the diet is not the problem. It's you're the problem. You keep changing it every 4 days.
Right.
Like, if you ate the same thing for 7 days, 6 times a week or whatever, and I literally went from a quarter a cup of rice to half a cup, you're gonna see results because the changes are very small. Your body will recognize it. But if you're all over the place, you don't know what to change. You don't know. For me, like if I, am organized in all areas of my life, and one thing is falling apart, I'll know which area of my life is falling apart if I closely monitor everything and keep things very clear and organized. But same thing with our bodies. Like, how are we going to know if our training, how do I know if I need a rest day if I'm not logging what days I'm resting and what days I'm doing this and what days I'm doing that? So people are kind of like, they want to be told what to do. When they're told what to do, they rebel. And they're like, oh, I don't know. This seems like, I'm like, suddenly I'm craving so much chocolate, even though before I'm like, because I'm telling you what to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just the mind of today's culture. You know, it's just what it is. Everybody wants people coming out of college now. Like, this is what I deserve to get paid. I'm like, what happened to internships and like earning your way and earning your salary?
Right.
I'm big on entrepreneurship. So like with me, don't come at me like I lose this much an hour.
Right.
I'm like, what's your plan?
Yeah, right. I heard that.
How are you making that money?
Right. I mean, I will also about the whole college thing. We both went to college, and we know when we were going what the whole stigma was. When you get out, you were going to get this job, you were going to make this money. So in a sense, I see the dynamic of where when these kids get out, they're like, yo, I should be making this because that's what they were told. But at the same time, we know when we were growing up, we saw our parents or whatever working real hard. So we're like, but what did you do that you want this money? So then I see where the conflict happens, and it's just like again, a lot of talking was going on between a lot of people, and nobody was really applying anything to know like this is not how real life works. You're in one certain situation, you got to get out of your comfort zone and see what it is when you get out of these certain situations. Yeah. I want to go back to when you were talking about your entrepreneurship. Well, I guess it's a two-pronged question. What made you feel that this is where I want to go? I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to kind of make this brand of myself. And who are the people that you have around you? Because I know a lot of it, you molded yourself. But so I know as me, myself, like everything is my fault. Like that's how I live my life. Everything is my fault. I don't really keep a lot of people around me. I have my daughter. When I do things with her in my head saying, how is she going to look at me if I do certain things in my life? That's why I try, in anything in life, when it's other women, I wouldn't want her to say, well, Dad, I'm a girl. Why would you do that to some woman? Or when my life, well, Dad, why wouldn't you have done, things like that. I want her to look at me if I'm gone, like, yo, my dad was the best. That's how I live my life when I do things. She asks me why I work out all the time. I said, because I want to be here as long as I can for you. That's what I tell her all the time, because she's like, Dad, like, why? I was like, because I want to be able to run around you. So anyway, I went on a little tangent there, but how did you know? How did you know that you wanted to be an entrepreneur? And when did you know? Because you say you have one business partner. Like, how did you feel comfortable with grabbing that one business partner? And when did you know that it was the time to do it? Because I feel like that's a problem, especially even with me. I do this solo. A lot of the things I do for myself, and to do it for myself, because I know that I can't really. I know that a lot of other people are not feeling me when I come with certain things. So
yeah, that's a big question. So I'm gonna try to break it up as fast as I can.
Right.
Well, entrepreneurship is a leap of faith. So to take a leap, you have to have nothing left. You get me? There has to be nothing left. You either have to have a lot of money and say, well, there's risk. If I lose, I lose. Or you have to say, I have nothing left to lose. I was on that end. I have nothing left to lose. I went to school. I ended up graduating with a degree in psychology, just because I wanted to be a physical therapist. And I ended up thinking, like, if I do psych, I can understand the rehab process better. But my grades weren't good enough to get into graduate school. This would be a long story, but to cut it short, for 3 years, I did try. And for 3 years, I got rejected. For 3 years, I ended up even selling my car just to pay for a program, just to try to get in, just to retake classes. I retook everything, still nothing. and I was slammed down into the floor. I was working, I was bartending, I was trying to make ends meet here and there. And I was left with like empty pockets all the time. And every time I was frustrated financially, I always said, well, it's this person's fault, or they don't pay me enough, or the school rejected me, or my friends are not there for me. And I was blaming everything, So, and I was like, what do I do? How do I get a good job? I was still being fed by society that I needed to have my 9 to 5. I needed to have my benefits, but my brother, who's the biggest influencer in my life, he's 2 years younger than me. He graduated as an engineer and then he's like, screw this. He took a job on an entrepreneurship company down in Florida. And little by little, he started to kind of like, hey, like, this is the way you should do certain things in your life. But still, I was like still trying to like think in school. At the end of the day, I thought if I became a therapist, I can open up my own practice. Like in my head, I still wanted to be an owner and a boss. But still, I was like, this isn't working out. So I ended up doing personal training, right? I worked for some guy, I was coaching CrossFit on the side and personal training on the other side. But then I had the guy I was working for ended up selling a little personal training studio. So, that he had nothing to do really with anything. The guy that I was coaching for CrossFit, he's very like, let's just run with it type of guy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
He, for some reason, really trusted me. I'm very creative. I think I have a crazy work ethic. I'm not talented or gifted, but I have work ethic and creativity, and I think that helped me out a lot. And I always had ideas. I'm big promoting on ideas, like, hey, I have this idea, let's do this. And I get really excited about things even when I don't follow through. So I would just be it's crazy. It's my flaw. Like, I'm like, yeah, like, whatever. So I'm there like, hey, we should have this class and we should have that class and we should have this class. When he started to say, all right, whatever. He gave me such freedom, that I was like, I had so much room, and I was like, at my job, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm not growing here. So I ended up quitting, and I was like, I'm going to coach full time. Then I had, classes in front of me, people in front of me, and they were like, okay, coach, like, what do I do? I'm like, wow, it's literally up to me to decide what other people are going to do. All right, cool. So then I was like, let me fake it till I make it. I'm all here like, oh, confident, whatever. And my brother's like, you think that you're faking it, but you're not. If you think you're a fraud, you're not. Like, believe in what you can do.
Right.
And I was like, and make money out of it. He's like, believe in yourself. He's like, so I'm like, all right, we started to grow the gym together. And I still wasn't in that entrepreneur mindset at all yet. I didn't really think that I had it, in me until, last year, about a year and a half ago, I started to, I put myself in bodybuilding and things like that. And I was like, all right, I got this or whatever. I started thinking like ways to grow the business. I was like, all right, if we do this plan, I can make, it's not about like how many hours can I work, but personal training, was it going to cut it? If I charge you $100 an hour, I can only make $100 an hour. How can I get hundreds of people in front of me, paying a membership and building relationships? So I was like, all right, let me build relationships. I got you no matter what. Eventually, I know you get me. If I got you, you will get me later. So I'm like, let's build all these relationships, yada yada yada. And then I realized I'm going to choose to be broke. I will be broke. And then I started doing like online little like diet plans and things like that. And I'm like, if I have 100 people, charging them $100 to write their programming and diets, that's $10,000 a month. That's this much a year. Oh my God. Like, I started to think that knowledge can take you so far. Why is anyone going to write me a check?
Right.
Why should anyone write me a check? So then I said, even though that's fine, online stuff is fine, I'm a very in-person type of person.
You seem like that.
Huh?
I said you seem like that.
Yeah,
you seem
no,
like
I really thrive off like physicalness.
physical, right.
I need to engage with you. I think I wouldn't survive being behind the computer for too long. And so the guy that I was working for, I just presented him a plan and I said, look, how do you feel about really partnering up here? And I'm going to give up every little side thing that I'm working on and give this 100%. And we don't take any days off until we get a certain number of members in here. And he's like, all right, let's do it. And then it turned into, started marketing. I'm talking about handing out flyers at bus stops, going to school, saying, hey, like, can I do a core strength seminar for your sanitation workers in the city, just to teach them how to carry stuff correctly. Like, I'm like, what do I know and how could I use it to
help people? Right.
Yeah, just, we're like, what's the niche here? What's our niche? We started getting into OCR, sparring race training. And we've gotten our clients podium. So that's like something we're really good at because we know how to correlate obstacle courses and life. That's how we get into let's make fitness harder than life. Harder than cancer. Right. So by the time you get cancer, you're like, I got this. I've been through Jess's hardest workouts.
Right.
We started getting into that.
I saw that 50 burpees, 50 burpees each time and all. I was like, damn. So I know some of those people like, fuck Jess.
Yeah. It's that fun. Yeah. And then, so then we started okay, I started doing social media. I started, little blogs, I started editing videos. I was like, I'm just going to do what I want. Like, literally, I'd rather do what I want than being told what to do. And then say, I'm going to fail 100 times and find the way that works. So every time we do 10 things, we're like, what 2 were the best things that worked?
Right.
And we start to grow in that way. And then I said, let's stop worrying about having people and let's start having the right people. And we got rid of people. And then let's get these right people to have the right seat on the bus. So then we started putting them on the right, having the right job at the job. And little by little, we started to tighten up. And it turned into throwing events. And because I'm an in-person person, the way that I coach, I'm just literally blasting music, having fun, going blah, 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 blah. And everyone's like, oh, this was great. It was a great experience. So I'm like, okay, people want a good time while they do something that really, really sucks.
That's right.
So it ended up being kind of all right, I have nothing left to lose. My car got repossessed. I was going through it all. My car got repossessed. Because my car got repossessed and I didn't return the license plates because I didn't know, there was a warrant for my arrest.
Oh my
God. I got arrested.
Yeah,
I got pulled over and arrested. And I'm here thinking can things get worse? And this is all because I decided I will go broke. And I told them, we have to starve to succeed. And other gyms started to close around us. We're like, you know what? Because everyone wants money right now. They want to live right now. But I'm not married and I don't have kids. So in a way, I can. The time is now.
Right. Yeah.
So he's like, he's like, I'm gonna rent out my apartment and I'll just sleep in the gym. I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? Let's just do what we gotta do, and give people the time of their lives, and make them feel like we are there. So now we have some people in the gym that are there hanging out. The class is an hour, but they're there for 5 hours. Wow. That's their safe space. That's where they feel the best. They feel at home. They feel like they're I'd rather be here than at home. So it's creating just a place where people can go and be better and transform. So now we started talking about transformation and saying what you eat has a lot to do with how you perform, not just because when people come and I don't have time because of work, work has me exhausted, I'm like, if you were performing better in CrossFit, you can perform better at work.
Right.
So make the time, you know. It's not for the money. Trust me. Like, I tell everybody, if I needed money, well, if I wanted money, we all need money, I would be doing something else, because this doesn't pay, you know.
Right.
It pays in the long run eventually, but right now it doesn't pay, you know.
Right.
It's just about building now people that will believe in you, and because everyone could be a personal trainer. It's an online exam, you know. It's whatever. It's getting people to say, I'm going to listen to her because I believe in what she does. I believe what she says because she goes through it herself. She does it herself, you know, and she doesn't make it up. And the proof is in the pudding, right? In the pudding. So right now I'm kind of in the midst of like learning. No book taught me anything. I pick up little golden nuggets from it, but it's not like school. I realized how much of a scam school was for me. They wanted the way that my brain works. School was gonna fail me no matter what. I had to go on YouTube and find somebody that I understood better to teach me, and that's why I graduated. And that's the only reason I graduated. And so now my brother constantly feeds me. He sends me podcasts all the time, videos all the time. Listen to this, you know. And because I tell him, can you send me something that will help somebody who knows they are limitless, knows that they can do anything in the world, but it's just having a bad day. You know what I mean? It's not like I need you know, some people need that, like, oh, we are this, we are that. Like, I know all that stuff. But there are times that people that in the position of entrepreneurship need to get through those really bad days. Even bartending, my boss let me go. It's like, you need to grow, and you need to know that one day it will suck, and you're gonna cry. And you're gonna want to not wish you ever did this, but you got to get through those bad days too. And you know, all those little things. My support systems. My parents were supportive about everything. They don't get it sometimes. They're into the old school.
Right.
I would love to see you with a nice pension and
right.
Just create my own.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. Oh my God, it's just so funny. And I want to just put this in here. This is one of the reasons why I also started this podcast, and when I do the talk show Tuesdays, and when I talk to a lot of these people, because you look at people like the Gary V's and the Andy Frisellas and all of them, they're already there, right? But when they talk to you in a position that they know how it was when we are where we are right now. I want to show people, look, we're here right now. We have that same mindset, and we're working. I want to show you guys the journey from being in the bottom, other people being at the bottom, and when you know what I'm saying. And when you see us, whatever, 5-10 years from now, hey, you remember that interview we had 5 years ago? Remember Jess when she was on? And I want people to see that. I want people to see the journey, because a lot of people can't
see the result.
Right, exactly. They always, and they look at the final product, and they look at, these guys, they already made it, so it's easy for them to say. No, it's not easy for them to say. They had a journey. They're just trying to tell you their journey, but only you're seeing the end result.
Yep.
This is real. Like, this is real stuff. Everybody's having, there's so many correlations. There's so many things that we all share. When you talk, I'm hearing myself talking to my mom, like, she's a teacher. I respected the hell out of that, because she helped me grow. If it wasn't for her having a teaching job, I wouldn't have been fed. But when she comes with the whole pension and everything, I was like, Ma, they trying to take that pension away from you guys. You know how many times they cut Social Security? Some of these people might not even see their money anymore. But when it comes to the next 10 years from now, I said that, and I understand where you're coming from, but you have to, this is the whole reason why I stepped out of the whole, I worked for the post office for 5 years, and I stepped out of it because, one, I didn't have enough time with my daughter. I'm a single dad. I needed to be with my daughter. I didn't have enough time to be with her, to watch her grow. I didn't want my daughter to grow up in the child care system, where people are not going to care for her the way I did or the way I will. So I knew that they weren't paying me for my time. They weren't paying me what I felt like I was worth for my time that I'm spending. If I'm spending here 12 hours out of the day and I'm only getting maybe $15 to $20 an hour, do you feel that that's worth it to you? What do you feel is worth your time? and it wasn't working for somebody else, killing myself, and I getting to see my child.
Right.
So it's like, oh, you know, all those things is a lot. Every time that I'm hearing from you is like, it makes me feel a lot happier that I'm showing y'all guys' story and my story every day, and you know, getting back up with you guys, because I want people to see this is not, you know, these is just not these people that are on top. This is a mentality that you go from the bottom going all the way to the top, and it's still there. When you say working 7 days a week, that every day, if you don't wake up in the middle of the night thinking about, oh man, I could make this better, then you're not trying to be an entrepreneur. You're not trying to make it. You're not trying to do something that's going to be worth it. Like, there's times where I can't sleep because I'm so much is going through my head. I have to get up and start and putting it down, or whatever, because that's just how it is. It's not just millionaires and billionaires that's doing it. It's people trying to make it, and all the time.
To be that millionaire, that billionaire, they had some sleepless nights.
Mm-hmm.
Some nights of like, I need to declare bankruptcy.
Right.
You know, we don't influence people by being millionaires. We influence them by being, I used to be broke.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
with the failure stories.
The failure stories,
mm-hmm.
failing your way to the top.
Right.
And not everyone's meant to be a CEO.
Right, right.
And the world wouldn't run that way, right? There's a position for everyone.
Right.
But I think that sometimes the people that really crave to be that person on top, no matter what, you know, if you're the best at something, you're going to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
But to be that person, to say, I want to grow that business and be on top, you have to accept that you are in the loneliest position. Everybody wants to be an alpha, but the alpha is very lonely.
Right.
Making sure their people are good, you know, and you're not going to have support a lot of the time. You know, you're not going to have help a lot of the time.
Right.
You can't have expectations of anyone.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I learned. If people help me, that's a bonus.
Right.
A bonus, an addition, a compliment to my life. But I have to fuel myself and keep myself at 100 so that I don't feel let down. Because as somebody growing in entrepreneurship, like, there are moments you're not going to have anyone and you don't have ideas to run by anyone. You know, you have to say, all right, do I think this is good enough?
Right.
We want validation all the time from everyone else. And that's why we get nowhere. I always encourage people to give me their opinions, and like, just because I do care about opinions, but at the end of the day, you have to be confident enough to say, like, can I make it on my own?
Right.
Can I do this on my own? Something important that you said, that you used to blame yourself, like it was, I'm sorry, I said that. You said it's my fault.
Yeah.
I love the fact that if I fail, I could only blame me. I said if I don't do good, it's on me,
right,
and no one else. I should never give somebody that type of responsibility,
right,
ever.
Right. Yeah.
And if I messed up, then I can fix it too.
Right. Right.
If someone else messed up, I can't fix their mess up.
Right.
And that sucks.
Yeah. So that's like a place of helplessness. You know what I mean? Like,
right, exactly. Yeah, that's a really, really important thing that people don't like. They love to point the finger. They love to say, I'm not where I am because of X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And that's when a little bit of my, like, I guess more conservative, I want to say, there are times where, like, some people are like, you're too harsh. But you know what? Even people that are really bad positions in their life, I'm like, that's on you. So many times that I made myself seem so helpless, and I feel sorry for me. Oh, I can't pay my bills. I'm going through a lot. My family's broke. But even my own parents, I had to say, you guys are broke because you want to be broke. Because you only take jobs that you think that you're only qualified. You haven't tried.
Right. You haven't pushed it. You got to push the envelope a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, you have to feel the most qualified. You don't know what's going to happen. And so many times when I started bartending, I would come home with cash. Here, help pay the bills. And I realized, guys, if I die tomorrow, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
And if they're like, oh, I'm not good enough, the reason why I love entrepreneurship is because it gives you, like, the liberty to believe that you can do anything. And you could be the best house cleaner in the world.
Right.
You could be the best. What happens if I go to everyone's house right now and be like, can I wash your dishes for $10?
Mm-hmm. They're gonna
And
be
I did
like,
100 houses. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way to not make money. There's no way to not be good at
right,
something. There's you can technically make a business. Running a business is different, right? Management is a little different, but
right.
to have that kind of platform and build a platform, like anyone can. But like I said, like it's the mentality of like it's what everyone said: go to school, do this, do that, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But then school's at fault when you don't find a job, or your boss is at fault when you got laid off, and then we're still blaming everyone for all of it's my genetics, it's because my culture, it's because there's bread in the house, it's because of this and that and that.
Right.
And it's this life of excuses after excuse
Mm-hmm.
after excuse. But now, like, I don't know, like I'd rather be broke knowing that it's on me than my parents did not push school on me as much as they should have. Absolutely not. No one helped me with homework. I cheated my homework. Like, I was all over the place in school. Didn't do as well as I could have, maybe should have. But I used to blame everyone.
Right.
But now it's on us, and teaching these kind of things to the kids now, that if you guys, step your game up, you don't have to follow what
Right.
society wants you to do.
Right.
You don't have to do monkey work to make money and get a paycheck.
Right. Yeah,
you can make as much as you want to make with knowledge.
Right, exactly. I was gonna say that the problem is not money. There's a lot of it out here, and like you said, you could make money by doing almost anything. So
Right.
what's gonna make you happy? What's the long lasting investment in yourself?
To give, everyone wants things. I want to get money,
Right.
but trust me, when you give,
Mm-hmm.
the money comes.
The money comes. Right.
But the relationships that are built, the things the difference that you make in someone's life, that's the joy. We're designed to give. We don't know that though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people are hostile. Like, I've been hurt, I've been bitten. Like, I want to do my own thing and just take from people. But we're designed to give.
Right.
So when we create those resources for other people, and like, I'm generating these resources and people are loving it, you forget about the money, and you're like,
yeah, wow, true.
Fun, this is great. That's why volunteering is a real thing, and people like, oh wow, like it felt good to feed the hungry, it felt good, because all those things, they make you moral, right? But at the end of the day, they do feed what we're designed to do.
Right.
So if you can give, doing something that makes you happy, that is a necessity, which health will always be a necessity. People don't see it that way, but if you can get somebody to the point where they don't see it as a luxury more, and more of a, I need to do this, you'll always have a job.
Yeah, quote unquote, right. You're right, but it's funny that you say quote unquote, because it's not really a job. It's a lifestyle kind of thing. It's just I'm providing.
It's what you do.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's just what it is. You wake up every day. You work out. This is what you do. This is part of you. It becomes a part of you. And if you could impart that on somebody, man, that's probably one of the greatest gifts. It's like what's that saying? What's the value in bringing someone to fish? You got to teach them how to fish or something like that. How does it go again? Something like that.
I know what you mean, but I totally forgot the quote.
I forgot the quote too. But you're teaching them something that's going to it's long lasting. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just, if I feed you that one day, you're gonna go back and try to fish and can't do it. How you gonna feed yourself the next day?
Right.
So yeah, that's
teach them to fish.
Right. Right. Teach them to fish. That's a good one.
No, I'm saying, like, teach someone to fish instead of like catching them. Right.
Exactly. Definitely. All right. I mean, so any plugins you want to do, any shout outs you want to give? I mean, I definitely want to have you on again and see where you at, and see what's been going on, what's the progression and stuff like that with you. But any plugins, any shout outs?
Shout outs. I mean, you can shout out my own gym, CrossFit ECF.
Okay. Any website?
What's up?
No, it got a website? Any?
CrossFitECF.com.
Okay.
Pretty simple.
Your Instagram?
My Instagram, Jess Oquendo. My name. try to keep it simple too.
Right.
You know, I'm just trying to post things that are motivating. Kind of like my favorite part about it when I post is at the end. I'm not posting as much as I used to actually. So I was surprised you actually, how'd you find me? That's the question.
That's a good question. I don't even remember.
I was posting like every day, and then like lately it's just been I've been so busy that I was not, posting as much.
Right.
And people are like, it makes a difference when you do, because
right.
then they at the end of the day, like, I needed to hear that.
Right.
All right, I got to get back in.
Well, see, the tough thing is that, especially with me, I have that same problem where they say it's good to post, but we are doing so many different things that we're actually doing it, so it's hard to actually sometimes record what we're doing because we're in it. We're like, our mindset is in it.
Yeah.
So that's why one of the reasons why I asked you how did you find a partner, or what was it that made you want to partner up with someone? Because, for instance, me, I'm all about, like you said, I like to go out there, I like to be in it, I like face-to-face interaction, I like to create the content, but I don't have a business mind, right? So when it gets to that level, either I'm going to have to do it for myself, or if I find someone that's better at it than me, that I feel, then I have to, delegate. At some point in time, there's going to be a point where I have to delegate, or I have to expand the circle.
It's good to have a team. It's good to have, we're not meant to go through life alone.
Right,
a lot of the times, like, we're independent. We're, I got to get this done. Oh, it's all on me. And like, you feel like you want to pat yourself on the back, but having a partner, having support, I mean, and not just there are people that work under you too, that you're like, hey, can you, it makes life so much easier. And at the end of the day, if you're in a position where you want to grow a business to help other people, the business has to run then in the most efficient way possible. If it is with other people, like, he is great with numbers. He is great with managing the reports and things like that. I am horrible at that. I'm like, I still count with my fingers, right? Like, when some people are like sharp with math, I'm not that. You know what I mean? I like being creative. Like, if I asked him to do an Instagram post, it was not going to come out as good as the one that I would do.
Right.
It's just what I'm better at. We all have our strengths.
Right, exactly.
Some people are magnificent and can do it all. Some people just have the mind to do it all.
Right.
But I have a friend, who actually would be a great person to talk to do this with. He's 100% entrepreneur. He did his business is Fit Lifestyle Box, and he does fitness subscription boxes, and he does his Airbnbs, and he's all over the place. He's a veteran, and I graduated with him, and like, he's somebody that I bounce ideas off of a lot, and he tells me how lonely it gets, and even talking to somebody like me from time to time, he's like, I need that. Time where I was going to move into his office just for the company, for him, because he's like, sometimes you don't know if you're doing well or not.
Right. You don't have anyone to bounce it off of. Yeah.
Sure. And then you try to wear so many hats, you fail. So even with a team, we are having a hard time, but I think that eventually we'll get it. And it'll just not be about creating momentum, building momentum, but now chasing that momentum. But it starts with the grind and the hustle of what it is right now, which is what you're doing, like trying to get stories on the startup process.
Right. Yeah. But I definitely, I'll link up with you on that one on personal and see if I could, if it's all right to talk to him as well. See if you want to, these are some things that, I don't want to just talk to a lot of people and then that's it. Like, I try to keep in touch with, you guys, and whatever you're doing, I try to spread that love, because I even did a post today on one of my buddies. I'm like, look, if you guys make it, I feel like I make it. And a lot of people don't feel like that. A lot of people feel like, they on that negative, oh man, they made it and it's some kind of negative connotation, or, they are hating on it or something like that. Like, that's not me. If I can help in any way to help people make it, that's, I feel good. I never feel any kind of ill will towards that. I love it, because I feel like I made it as well. So,
I love meeting new people. I
Yeah.
love talking about this stuff. It's just never enough. There's
Mm-hmm.
never enough.
Yeah,
We have
right.
enough of the garbage, so like,
Right? Why can't it be? Yeah, it should not be enough for the positivity too, and that, you know.
Yeah. We just wanna. I like to talk about changing the world like all the time. Like, how
Right.
can we improve this? How can we make it better? Oh, what did you go through? What's your story? It's like the best line ever.
Right. It's true.
Walk up to anyone like, "What's your story?" Some people are like, "Wait, what?
Yeah.
I have a story." Like, yeah, we all do.
Or talking to old people. I think that's one of the good things too. When I go, like, let's say if I sit down in the bar and I'll relax for a second and I see an old dude drinking, I let him talk. I'm like, "What's up, man? How you doing?" And I saw you. Sometimes you got to do with some of these old dudes, and they just go. But I sit there and I listen because I'm like, he earned my respect enough to listen to him, at least, because he's been here for so long. So that's the least I could do is just listen to him, and you hear some things, man.
Yeah.
So listening to the story is definitely important. But again, thank you for your time. What you got on the plate now after this? More training?
Training.
More training.
Yeah.
I gotta link up with you. Like I said, we'll link up. So I want to check out your facility too and see what's going on. Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, you're right there.
Yeah.
I'm in Jersey. You're in Brooklyn. Yeah.
Right over the bridge.
Okay. Are you ever in Jersey?
No, I never in Jersey, but I'll figure it out because
we're like literally across.
Okay.
Like, you cross the river you get off. Like, let's just say, even if you took the ferry or the train, doesn't matter. We are literally like, the skyline is basically our backyard city. Mm-hmm. We're right there.
All
so
right.
It's super close in Jersey, nothing far.
All right,
if you ever want to come by, get a workout in.
Yeah.
Take a class or just hang out, have some coffee, whatever.
All right. Yeah, I've always heard of CrossFit. I heard mixed reviews on it, so that's another reason why I definitely wanted to get you on somebody that's actually living it and doing it, because some people say it's easy to get injured, and some people swear by it.
Bad coaching is the reason why CrossFit is bad. When, like I said, remember, it's easy to get certified. It's very easy to get certified. People that want the title and teach, like, you turn the other way. You have to know what you're doing to get your members to progress the right way.
Right.
People and their egos is what gets them hurt, and then coaches that or push them to do more than they should.
Right.
I come from a background of injury. Trust me, I got in the game so that doesn't happen to me.
Right.
So that's out there.
Right. That was one of the questions I was gonna bring in the beginning, and luckily it came out in the end, because that's definitely a thing, and I wanted you to really speak on that, because it's the same thing with like martial arts. If you got a bad martial arts instructor, you're gonna go out there and not be able to apply what you've been learning. And if they're not teaching you that it's not just only, it doesn't stop with me, you have to do your own research on some of these things. That's another thing a lot of these martial arts instructors, they don't do. They make it seem like they are it, and you need to come to me, and this is it, this is the best, and it's not the case. There's nothing like that. I mean, where are you gonna find the best in everything in the world from one person? Like, come on, it's common sense that that can't be a thing. So it's definitely true. It's good that we did this.
Like, and the time just passes. Like with me, I just keep on.
Right. It'll keep going. We can go on forever. Right. Definitely. Yeah, we'll do another one again. Like I said, we'll keep in touch. We want to see. Like I said, I want to document the story, and I don't. I keep in touch with everybody that does this. So, but
send me the link for the river.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. I'm gonna get work on it right now. So awesome. I'll hit you up. I want to thank everybody for coming through. Thank you, Jess, for again taking the time, and we'll see you on the next one.